Hello, and Chris. And Chris, very nice to see you in Ho Chi Minh
Nice
City.
to see you.
And you have a beautiful haircut every time we see you.
Well, there we go. Today is one of my treats to myself on this visit.
Yeah.
So.
And you just came back from London, traveled to Ho Chi Minh City, and then you spent time for us for this interview with you. And I'm thankful, I'm grateful for your kindness and for your time spent with us.
No problem. You see, I had a long trip to the UK, and it's too expensive to get a haircut in the UK, so that's why I got a haircut today. So there we go.
Yeah, and Chris, this topic we talked today is about a project that my wife and I have been researching over the past 5 years with experts in more than 125 countries already in all 7 continents, and it's about newness. So when we dive into a story of an expert that we had conversation with, and we keep seeing behind the success story and fulfilling story of a person, you know, it's always their ability to lean on to new things, to figure out how to make the best of it instead of afraid of change. So they lean directly toward to it. And your story, your life also prime example for that. So that's why I say if you have a chance to come to Ho Chi Minh City for a visit, and we wish you do it all the time, right? So let's talk about that. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so this conversation, we're gonna dive into newness intelligence to see it from your perspective. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, and for your audience, for our audience here, a lot of people yet knowing you and who you are. Maybe it's best for us if you can share a little bit about who you are, for them to know about a little bit about you.
Well, I am a very old, grey-haired, loud Englishman who has lived in Vietnam for 16 years, nearly.
Wow.
And I am Pro Vice Chancellor of British University, Vietnam. I have been, before I arrived in Vietnam, I was at City University in London at the Business School as faculty and director of the Exec MBA program there. So I've been involved in higher education for over 30 years now. Quite scary, over 30 years.
Wow.
And I arrived in Vietnam when BUV first started, so
Wow.
that journey.
You have a beautiful journey, amazing journey with a lot of things in the past 30 years involved in higher education, right? You built BUV from the first stone in building the school from here. You introduced to our audience in less than 2 minutes. It's not fair.
So it's not that interesting. Also, like everything in this world, building anything requires a team. So it wasn't just me by any stretch of the imagination. A lot of people have been involved either through the whole duration or different parts of BUV in terms of building it and supporting it and making it what it is today.
Yeah.
So
So from 0 students, now 1,000 students. How do you feel after, you know, that 16 years journey?
Proud, and it's great to catch up with them throughout Vietnam and the UK. I was, in fact, on Monday when I flew back from the UK, I was waiting to board the aircraft, Vietnam Airlines, direct flight to the UK, very good. And an alumni was flying back the same time. So we had a great chat, and they just finished their master's program in the UK at Stirling University. And they had just graduated, and they were coming back to Vietnam to work and to visit family, which was great to catch up. And then I received via somebody at work a photo of the back of my head from somebody else who had been on the same aircraft. So no matter where you travel, you can't hide, because somebody will always take a picture of the tall, grey-haired Englishman wherever they are in the world. So it's great.
16 years ago you came, right? And a total stranger in a vast country with 100 million people, right? And now everywhere you go, somebody will take a photo of Chris and send it to someone. That someone we're going to send back to you, right? So
hopefully not everyone.
We're going to go way further, even before that 30 years in higher education, to see the seed of newness inside of you, that newness intelligence, where is it coming from? So last time we talked, I shared with you my dream when I was little. I wanted to become an astronaut because I was born in Da Nang City, in the rural area. Da Nang City is very poor family, very poor community. And so when the moon arose, when I was little, I always fascinated about it, and I hope one day I will be able to fly to the moon. Life's taken me to a different direction, except that I've been interviewing a lot of astronauts, and one of them actually walked on the moon on Apollo mission 16. So when you were little, what was your dream about your future? If you compare to the 30 years now of higher education, tell us the difference in between.
Well, I think this is where we probably differ. Maybe it's because I'm old, but I can't remember wanting to be anything. What I wanted to do was to do something that excited me. That was the only parameters I had as a youngster. I suppose I got bored quickly. I'm not by nature a sports person. I'm not particularly clever, so I'm not a genius, right? I'm little old me. So I didn't really have a dream apart from wanting to do things that excite me, that I feel connected with, and that I feel proud of doing. So those were the main things, and I think that's partly because when I was younger, because of my dad's job, we moved around the UK, but also when I was very young, 3 or something, we moved to Malaysia. So I've always loved Asia, and my dad, when he was younger, in the UK, they had national service, and he went to Kenya, and his heart was always in Africa. Because of it was his first real international experience. My first real international was Malaysia. And so I've always loved Asia, and so I think Asia played a part in a love for learning, a love for different things. And I think partly that's why I didn't have a vision of a career. I had a vision of a broader kind of what I want to do with life. So it wasn't specific. I don't want to be a professor of ABC. I want to enjoy life. I want to explore. And I hoped Asia would have a part in it. And hey presto, now it has. So there we are. I'm there. And also I've always had the ability to talk. So performing in that sense has always been a skill set. If you ask my parents, my sisters, and probably colleagues at work, they would tell me to be quiet because I talk too much. Actually students as well, to be honest. But I think that's brought it all together. So the ability to talk, communicate, Asia, and probably not having too many set career goals has created this opportunity, which I was lucky enough to be given, and an opportunity which I took, and have managed to survive.
Wow, it's beautiful to survive.
Yes, it's quite good to survive in today's world. So yeah.
Yeah. And then look at this. You're in your teenager and early adulthood. You open to opportunities. Anything that arose, anything that excites you, right? That's newness in there, right?
I think also, I always remember my dad going, "What are you going to do with yourself?"
He asked.
Yeah, constantly. And my standard expression was, "I'm keeping my options open." So I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I think I'm very lucky that my parents allowed me to do that. They didn't push me to do something I didn't want to do. But also I was lucky at the age and during the time people could do that. It was much more flexible in terms of career and everything like that. Today, everything is very structured. Today, everything is you need to deliver, you need to deliver, you need to deliver. Whereas I had the opportunity of failing, trying and failing. Thank goodness I didn't fail that much, but I had the opportunity, and that was part of life. Whereas nowadays, I think it's much more about success, success, success. And for me, the best lessons, the most important lessons, have always been from failure, not from success.
Why do you say that? Why the rest of the world right now is chasing all the shining stars, all the big goals, big achievements, right? And then now you're talking about the big lesson in life is coming from failures.
Yeah, because I think the reality is, without sounding too crass, if everything's easy, everyone can do it.
Yeah.
And for me, if everything, you can't be successful 365 days a year for 80, 90, 100 years, however many years you're alive. Because that's normal. So success is abnormal.
Yeah.
And to get success, you actually have to risk stuff and fail. Because if you don't fail, you don't recover, you don't stand up again, and you don't push further. And I think that's where, if you look at success, and there are a lot more successful people than me, but you failed. They've all failed. They've all made mistakes and learnt from it and grown from it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key thing. And for me, when people say, "Oh, you're a success," blah blah blah, you kind of go, "Well, actually, no. Some of the time I'm a success. A lot of the time I'm bog standard normal, and some of the time I'm a failure."
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I lived off being normal, I'd be average.
Yeah.
And if people are average, they're fine, but that's not me. That's not what makes me excited. Yeah, me.
So what makes you excited requires you to get out of the comfort area.
Yes.
to get into the gray area, to the unknown zone. That's where newness. Yeah. And because if you lean into the newness, things that you don't know, you're not certain, you have to figure out a way it is, and sometimes works, sometimes not working, right? And before we move to your journey here in this particular country, bring me to 30 years ago. What made you decided to become a academia person? Because it's there's so many things can excite you. Now you focus on just one area here.
I'd like to say it was a very glamorous story, but it wasn't. I finished my degree. And remember, I'd said to my father, for many years, I'm keeping my options open. I had absolutely no idea what the hell I wanted to do in life whatsoever. And a professor where I just graduated from at City University in London said to me, "Are you interested in doing a PhD? Because we've got some funding." Those were the days when there was funding to do it. And I went, "Oh, yeah, why not? I haven't got anything else to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do." And I thought, it could delay the decision of what I was going to do with my life. So I said yes. So I started doing a PhD. And while I was being funded for that, I had the opportunity to start teaching and doing things like that. And again, that was taking opportunity. So although as a PhD student you do some marking and you support faculty and so forth, I remember the head of department came in one day and said to our office and said, "Oh my goodness me," or words to that effect, "we need an accountancy lecturer straight away." And being a naive, young, cocky student, research student, I put up my hand and said, "I've got an A-level in accountancy." And he was obviously very, very desperate. And he said, "You'll do." So originally it was just to cover a few lectures. It was very basic introductory accountancy, nothing mind-bogglingly complicated. And so I started doing that and I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it.
And then I thought, yes, I can do that. I've always, at school I used to do amateur dramatics. So performing and talking is something I've done most of my life, and it was just a different environment to do the same thing. So I started off doing that. I then moved on and looked after student activities and recruitment, admissions, and just it all developed from there. I was very lucky in that time. It was less rigid, less structured. I would never employ myself to teach accountancy today. But it was a different time of the world, I suppose. And I was very lucky. So I took that opportunity, and then throughout my career, I've taken opportunity wherever it's been right.
And then throughout that time, no Asia ever, like a rise?
Well, I then started, because I did recruitment and admissions, I went on some recruitment fairs and exercises to Asia, predominantly at that time China, for undergrad. And then over time I started involvement with postgrad. And then I used to do a lot of recruitment as well as teaching and management of the MBA. And that had at the time a massive focus here in Asia, so China and Asia as well.
Yeah.
And so that reignited the passion and the belief that my life will involve Asia in some shape, form or other.
Yeah, there's a more and more research talking about sharing about the inner child inside of us. It has a voice, and one day that voice is gonna rise up again and leading us to do what we once dream and forgot and along the way.
This child it's not inner. It is a child.
It's always there.
Yeah, it's always there. It's not inner child. It's always there. And I hope, much to the annoyance of people who love me, I'm sure, that the child will always remain there. So there we go.
And so 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what happened 16 years ago that you say yes to this country.
Many things. I'd been to Vietnam with the MBA students, so I'd visited Ho Chi Minh City.
So prior to that?
So with students from CAS. So I knew Vietnam, I knew Ho Chi Minh City as a very naive Englishman. I thought Ho Chi Minh was same as Hanoi. Very wrong, but very same, very different. So there we go. So I was probably going through a midlife crisis in my life. I was bored. I built up the MBA program and I was very privileged to have done that. We'd achieved top 10 in the world.
Wow.
With the Financial Times. I wanted a new challenge, I suppose. Midlife crisis, bored, new challenge. And then somebody I'd met who had worked with a group of students here rang up one day and said, we're starting a university in Vietnam. Would you be interested in being involved? I was bored in London. We had a new government in London, and I knew universities would be challenged in terms of funding and so forth. And I said, well, yeah, why not? I had no idea whatsoever. And then we had conversations. And then I had to have an interview with a gentleman called Sir Graham Davies, who was Vice Chancellor of the University of London at the time. And again, typical naive me, I was told to go and meet Sir Graham. So day before I Googled who he was, because I thought, well, I better find out who he was. And I realised he was the Mr. Higher Education, or Sir Higher Education in the UK. Who'd been Vice Chancellor at 3 universities and was a global person in higher education. So I met Sir Graham, I went to his rooms, and I remember he came in, I came into his office and he said, "Christopher, come in." And there are only 2 people in this world who call me Christopher. One is my mum, when I've been bad son, and the other one was Sir Graham, because I could never correct him and say, no, it's Chris, because I'm like, Christopher was waiting. And his first words were to me were, by the way, I know a lot of people at City University, and my answer to him was, oh, does that mean I haven't got the job? Because I don't know why I said it, but that was my answer. The second thing he said was, and I know Alec. And Alec was my hall tutor when I was a student at City University, and was his brother-in-law. And I went, that means I definitely haven't got the job, because I was a very bad student. I was very badly behaved when I was a student. And he went, no. And the rest, as they say, is history. I came here thinking that Hanoi was like Saigon, Ho Chi Minh, realising it's very different. But actually, Hanoi is more me than Ho Chi Minh. I love culture, I love politics, I love chaos. So that's Hanoi. So I grew to love Hanoi very quickly. And I think also because I had moved around in the world and UK, I learned I moved to Asia. I didn't move the UK to Asia. So I had the opportunity to I had the ability to adapt quickly. And that's very important.
Yeah.
Because Vietnam is not the UK.
Yeah.
Vietnam is Vietnam. Vietnam's not really Asia, it's Vietnam.
Yeah.
Every country has its own identity, its own DNA, how it operates.
Yeah.
And you have to realise that you adapt to the country rather than the country adapting to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a visitor here, and that's who I am. So in my own apartment or house, I can have a little bit of England, so I can make English food and do stuff like that and be a mad Englishman. But in reality, I am a visitor in Vietnam. And Vietnam, I've learnt to love, to be in wonder, but still be frustrated as well with the country, just like any country, just like any relationship. But the good times, the excitement is amazing.
I know. Yeah.
And the opportunity. I feel very privileged to have had that opportunity.
And when you link to that newness, you talked to us last time that we had coffee in the front, right? You said that you don't know who's calling, you don't know the event that you're about to attend.
Yeah.
But if they ask you to join, you join. And when your name was called, you just stand up and raise your hands. And what made you do all of that besides adaptability?
I realise I'm a guest, and I realise that trust is earned, not delivered or given. And to be a success in Vietnam requires trust.
Yeah.
That you're here for the right reason, that you are not selfish, if you like, in terms of me, or my organisation, or company. It's much more about representing. It's much more about being part of a community. So whether it's international community, British community, higher education community, whatever community. And you need to earn people's trust and respect that they will support you, encourage you, and help you deliver in whatever you need to do or want to do. So that's it. It's I've learnt in life, nobody gives you anything. And if they do give you something, actually there's going to be a cost later on. You've got to work for things.
Yeah.
And you've got to deliver. And I think in a way, I was so naive and I had no idea that if somebody said, do this, I'd do it. And luckily, I did the right things. So there we go.
I mean, one part is luck, another part is inside of you. You have the newness intelligence also for you to figure it out. What is that you need to do within that new environment that makes sense, that will yield the end result that could be positive for everyone. Yeah.
And I think it's a holistic approach to life. So it's not doing things for an immediate result or this specific benefit or result. It's about really approaching life that from a broad perspective.
Yeah.
That you're doing stuff and one day into the future there will be a benefit because I'll have learnt something or whatever. It's taking a holistic approach to life that actually I have no interest in farm machinery, but I went to the opening of a farm machinery exhibition or whatever, and I met somebody there who actually, because of what's happening today, would be great to speak to or reconnect with.
You just share a big piece of wisdom about life, about living, is to think in terms of longer, right? And why many people are chasing for something immediate, and delayed gratification is something that's not in their DNAs anymore. You have to see the result right away. So you came to Vietnam 16 years ago, absolutely with an objective, right? You have to build a school, there must be certain things, and within all of that there's a lot of stress on your shoulder also, getting familiar with the culture, the people, getting to know how to do business here, build a school. Where did you find the strength to look for longer holistic view about life when things not showing this week or this month?
You called it strength. I would call it naivety and stupidity. All right, so that's, my mum always used to say to me, you're living in your own world. Yeah, and I think it's not knowing things are not right, or not having that immediacy has enabled me to kind of just do whatever I want to do. And I think there is an inner compass, if you like, that has pointed me in my life direction, in the right direction, and to do stuff, and that predominantly is my dad, who I've learnt a lot about how to do things and do things properly. And it's not about immediate gratification, it's about building things, doing stuff, exploring and so forth. And colleagues and bosses in my history who have encouraged me to be me rather than to be somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think I've had the opportunity to, or the understanding to be a freak of nature in many ways, that I don't fit into cubby holes, I don't fit into norms necessarily. I am different, and in a good way, I hope. But I've had the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I remember my first boss at the MBA in City, a Professor Sims, David Sims, always gave me enough rope to hang myself, but supported me not to hang myself, if that makes sense. So to push the boundaries, to develop things, to be outrageous, but ensure I was aware of the risks and everything like that, and support me through doing those initiatives. So they were my initiatives, they were great, but I had that support behind.
Yeah.
And now I hope that I provide that mechanism for others who are younger than me into the future. And so Graham, who the ex-VC, I had, again, he was encouraging and supportive. And that to me has been very important. So my dad and key people in my life have given me the opportunity, but also the understanding of the responsibility of what you're doing. And that it's not me, it's this big picture. For Vietnam, it's about BUV.
Yeah.
I'm a mere tool, right? That's all I am. I'm a cog in a wheel of BUV. Right? Hopefully a relatively important cog, but that's all I am. And like any mechanism, if it's just me on my own, I won't work. Yeah? I mean, it's useless. And so understanding about how you work together, how people connect together and how they interconnect is key. And that's what I do.
Yeah. When I talk to you about newness,
I feel I'm very boring.
You're
Sorry,
not.
no, I feel like I'm very boring. I apologize.
In this. So when you talk about newness, when the word newness come to your mind,
Yeah.
what come with that in your mind?
Newness.
Yeah.
I think for me it's a challenge.
Challenge.
Because doing what you did yesterday is not good enough. Doesn't mean you have to change it completely.
Yeah.
But everything moves forward.
Yeah.
Life is a journey. And as you move forward, things change. So newness, maybe it's a development, maybe it's a new opportunity, maybe it's a new colleague. Newness, maybe even it's just a new day.
Yeah.
But everything is changing. We do not live in a static historical environment. We are not a museum. We are a living organism, and we have the ability but also the responsibility to support other living things to succeed and survive. So newness to me is about, if today was like yesterday, that's ultimately deadly, because you're not moving, you're not breathing, you're not moving.
Yeah.
So newness is key.
Yeah.
Right, and I'd get bored. So if it's same, I get so bored.
So for you, is that newness, is that something coming from your DNA, maybe from your father, your mom, or something that uniquely you?
I think my mum and dad would hate to say I'm like them completely, because I'm mad as a hatter. No, I think it's based on them.
It's based on them.
It's based on their DNA. So my mum is a very different personality to my dad. But my dad was an adventurer, pragmatic, perfectionist. He was my role model, still is my role model. And the way he did stuff, through challenges as well as through the good times, was what I hope I can model my life on. I don't think I'm as good as him at dealing with things, but as long as I feel confident that he would nod his head and smile, then I'm a happy chap.
Wow.
That I can achieve that. And I suppose that I could be considered in the same sentence as him and what he achieved in life.
What did you mean by that?
Well, that if people respect me for what I have done for friends, family, institutions, whatever, if they respect that, then I've done all right. Now, that's an overall respect, because I'm sure there are many people and family where sometimes in my life I have not earned their respect, and I've been a non-perfect child or colleague or whatever. All right, but overall, if people can look back and say, yeah, you did well, or that's good, that's all I care about. And if you do that, then that grows.
Yeah. Your parents, they lived through the Blitz time, right?
They're not that old. I'm not that old, sir. No, my dad was born just before the war, so he lived. Yeah, but no, they can't really remember. So my dad is 90 now, so he was born just before the war.
But the Blitz was do happen then, but the devastation happened
Afterwards,
yeah.
So rationing and everything like that.
Yeah. Because one of the things that we want to accomplish through conversation like this also is to bring newness from the oldness also. Because a lot of people think newness is something that you grapple with something new every day, but the wisdom always, everywhere, right? For like when you mentioned about your father, and now you bring a story about him, how he deal with newness into his life, that's his role model for you. Yeah, bring a story that can, tell our audience the power of newness in action though.
Well, my dad came from the west of England, so the West Country, and traditionally the family were boat builders in the west of England, and my dad was the first one from the family who went to grammar school in the UK, and he succeeded, but he didn't go to university. He joined the civil service in the UK and progressed through there. So what he achieved from not an advanced level, but from an ordinary level. So he was the first person in his family to go to grammar school. To a certain extent, he was the first person to move from the village, from the town, to become a global citizen. And then he was the first to really work abroad. My grandparents worked abroad during the war because they were soldiers and so forth. And then he was very honoured later on in his life to be awarded a CBE from the Queen, which is Commander of the British Empire. So to receive that award, so Newness in terms of he has achieved so many different things that his family had never even considered.
Can even believe in that.
And so it's, that's what I mean by it. It's about breaking the mold, changing. History is great. There's a saying in the UK that I worked down the mines, my dad worked down the mines, I will work in the mines. And he has always encouraged all of us, and anyone else, to think, I worked in the mines, what are you going to do? Right? Not be the same. Be an adventurer. Be an adventurer. Be new. Just because I've done it doesn't mean you repeat what I've done. You take the DNA, you take the skill sets, the beliefs, if you like, but you apply them in a different way. And I think that's the key thing. That I don't want anybody to be like me. Right? I don't want anybody to repeat what I've done in life. Do your own stuff. I've done that. Move on. But hopefully take some of how you do things and your beliefs and your methodology, whatever you want to call it, but that sort of thing. I hope people learn and take that as an example. But don't copy. Because you can never copy.
That's why I see now why you say he was your role model. He's your role model because he's always break the boundaries, go to the next one, next one, set an example, and you have an example right in front of your eyes every day when you were growing up. So absolutely, right? Two last questions.
Yes, sorry.
One question is always about something else that my wife and I always love doing, is to help people to improve their ability to think, because we believe there's so many things that are affecting our ability to think these days. So conversation like this is a way for us to extract the ideas that people can learn from you. And so Chris, how have you been expanding your ability to think over the years?
It comes back to naivety, I think. Just absorbing, being a sponge. No idea is wrong. No idea is useless. Well, that's not quite true. Most ideas aren't useless or wrong. But taking them in and making them your own. So, to a certain extent, some of them you say, actually, no, that won't work. But before you say, no, that won't work, you've got to absorb them. You've got to understand them. So it's not just a reaction. I think dreaming is very important. That you dream and your vision for the future is very, very important. Because unless you have that dream and vision, you're not going to achieve anything.
Yeah.
So you've always got to push yourself, and I suppose internally question anything that happens. Is that good or bad? And then, even if it's bad, is there anything good that I can take from it? Or can we do it this way, or so forth? So, understanding complexity. Every single thing we do involves risk, involves opportunity, involves complexity. And I think the key thing is to be able to juggle those things and to be a good juggler. All right? But as well as dealing with 500 different things coming into this very old brain and kind of processing it.
Yeah. Thank you. Beautiful. So, get your hands dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, get your hands dirty.
Don't expect anybody else to get their hands dirty unless you get your hands dirty.
Absolutely.
So
that's beautiful. Last question, this one we're gonna travel time. And since you mentioned about dreams, I believe through this conversation that when you were little and you always had big dream, but you yet knowing what it is. That's why you keep chasing for something that excites you, because you want to get to the stage to know what is that big things that you want to aim in life. And your father was frustrating, your mom was frustrating with, Chris, what is that you're going to do when you're growing up? And there must be some nights that you also have doubts, questioning about you, about your future, about things that you're going to make. Yeah. We're going to meet you in one of those darkest moments in your life, when you really have big doubts about your futures and you're not knowing what to do. And now you and me are gonna go into that scene. You are gonna meet him, and you had a words of advice, word of wisdom that that Chris now gonna talk to Christopher then. Okay, so what is that you are going to tell him?
How I deal with that personally is, if you think it's going to be 200% bad, the reality is it won't be 200%, it'll be 100%. And so then that's better than your worst prediction, if you like, internal prediction. So if you think I'm going to be beaten up for an hour and you only get beaten up for 5 minutes or some 10 minutes, that's pretty good. So I think it's a positivity. Now obviously you should never be beaten up or anything like that, but metaphorically speaking. So I think that's how I deal with it. I'm the most, or one of the most, unconfident people in my own ability you will ever meet. I question that every day. I question it every single day. And that, to a certain extent, is a weakness, if you like, or a vulnerability, but also it's a kind of an awareness. I'm not overconfident in life. I realise I'm a human being. I realise if you play a game, if you do something, you either win, you lose, or you draw. But every single action has a consequence.
Yeah.
And unless you're prepared to accept the consequence and move on from the consequence, whether it's good or bad,
Yeah.
thing. And not everything's positive, and you've got to move on. So I may have had a success, something I may have done has been successful. Great, hurrah, clap, cheer, yay, celebrate. But move on. Because if you keep reliving that celebration, you're not moving forward, and it's not new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's old. It's history. It's boring.
Yeah.
It's repeating.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
My pleasure. I hope I haven't bored you too much.
Yeah, we talk a lot about life, about your life, about a lot of piece of wisdom in here that apply to everyone's life. You see, yeah, and that's the beauty of what you're now transferring, from your own experience to our audience. Whoever listens to this conversation will be having a lot of things to think and apply to their own game, and it never ends, right? So
yeah, exactly. Work hard, enjoy success. Learn from failure and enjoy success from learning from failure.
Yeah.
But everyone's going to fail.
Sorry. Thank you,
right,
thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Take care.